Nila soparaveshe nayahi nayana. Simi alavaso noa yanahi. Nila. Siato koshimi sumare ikiala soto shinala. Good day, good love, and great illuminations, way showers, earth, angels, physical, non-physical beings, because we're all connected to spirit at all times, and all consciousness is here creating with us all. So if you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Wendy. This is my husband, Dave. And we share everything that is anything to do with illuminating more of all that we are, knowing more of ourselves, our multidimensionality, our families from the stars, more about Earth, more about who we are as spirit beings, and of course, if you came to this by the idea of light language and language of light, that is what I've been sharing for like the last 10 years now, is how my journey began with this channel, was sharing the language of light. One day I was just illuminated, and my connections with nature, and then it became an excitement with understanding how the oracle also brings us messages through the cards, and my excitement in sharing that information, along with a lot of other things that I've learned, through other channels, other channelers, other teachers, that I also use those tools in my own life and share those tools with all of you. And one of which is the Sacred Circuits from Sirius. And Dave and I also have another YouTube channel, Open Contact TV, which relates a lot more to that idea of open contact and extraterrestrials and just, disclosure, the idea of, knowing our star families. So we focus a lot on that. We did a interesting video on that channel today as well. So, but today I wanted to really share with all of you the idea of transformation, which began with the Sacred Circuit from Sirius, which you can see on my website every day if you're a little bit more curious about it. So Dave has my website, Languages of Lights, display the Sacred Circuit every day, which equates to when you add up the day of the year and reduce it down. It gives, we show the symbol, the Sacred Circuit for that day. And there's a lot more. I've done a lot of videos over the last 10 years, and as well as on that channel, talking a lot more about these sacred circuits. If you're interested in learning more, please, I've got thousands of videos. And the sacred circuit for today is for transform, number 13. Today's date equals 13. As we record time, it is February 20th, 2025. And today's date equals 13. Now, you can also reduce that down to 4. And as I'm reminded, as we're telling a story sometimes with these symbols, if you reduce it down to number 4, it's prepare. So sometimes when I see that or hear that in my mind, I hear preparing to transform. So it kind of can tell a story for the energies of the day as well. And you could really break it out into the entire date and use all of the symbols for the day as if it's its own reading, which I'm going to get into more. I've been guided to get into more of that either on this channel or on the other channel.
So the paradox of that is also transforming the idea of preparing.
That is a great idea.
So,
I mean, that's true, because preparing is only in our mind. Right? We're already prepared because we already have everything we need. So that's a very good point. So, but that's the beauty of these symbols. We get to change our perception. And isn't that what we've talked about in these videos this year about number 9 and receiving new information? And that's the symbol that we have up here. all of these are activating our, again, as we talked about before, the powers of 9. How we perceive, choose, act, experience, reflect, learn, grow, transcend, and forget. And that the idea is to work with these as beings because they're energies and entities. And so with that said...
So what does this all have to do with light language?
Well,
and
that's a good point.
Because we sort of started talking about the idea of light language.
And there's a lot of information out there now that there never was before about light language, about what it is, how it is. And actually, you know what, you guys, you can even Google it now. Even AI, Google, there is a plethora of information, but that information came from us. And I say us meaning those of us who came to experience what that is. And for me, it's a transmission of bundles and bundles of information that aren't always they're not always translatable, like word for word, but interpreted. But they're interpreted like art is interpreted, like music's interpreted. It's going to be interpreted by each person differently. Now, if I were to say, what does that mean? How do I translate that? It's like my heart is saying, I connect with you in so many ways. I connect with you in every way. My consciousness is your consciousness. We're connected with every fiber of our being. It's not even that these are actually words. They're just concepts and feelings that come through me.
Vibrational patterns of...
It's almost like light patterns.
Well, it's really vibrational patterns of love.
Yeah.
But ideas and thought patterns are contained within these things that transcend the language and bypass your processing of the information into something logical. And they also, light language comes audibly.
Yes, and
it also comes as symbols.
Like symbols and writing.
So all of these things are really a form of light language, symbols. And Wendy creates her own symbols that she intuits and channels through her drawing and writing. But many other people, even through art, through all kinds of different methods, create symbols that are representative of essentially some thought process, some idea that because frequency can also be represented symbolically. So we know we think about molecules, and molecules all have atomic numbers and they vibrate at specific frequencies, and we could draw them symbolically by the atoms and neutrons and electrons.
That's true.
When you put some like sand on a drum and you play the drum, a certain note will form a pattern. Yeah. Water will freeze and form a pattern based on things like the sound frequencies and wavelengths. So all of these things come together, and they're all forms of light language, and that's why we encompass all of these things in the things that we talk about.
And I'll see visions, like I'll see angelic visions, or I'll see ancestral visions, or I'll see a particular star system's vision, or a name, or a feeling. Even a few minutes ago, if any of you guys are familiar with the spirograph drawing toy, been around a long time. I have been guided to interact more with the spirograph and interact with it in my art as well. And it was funny because I was looking at the box a little while ago, and it was like they were showing me how if you put that in layers and layers and layers and different patterns, it's kind of like they're like, that's sort of what you look like. That's sort of like what creation kind of looks like when it's in its geometric form. All of this, which I wasn't even really going to go into today, but see that you, the viewer, because everything is quantum and everything is now. You're actually creating this for yourself right now, and I'm creating this for me right now, and we are to represent more, to create more of an understanding of what we are.
And a lot of people who receive the light language ideas in their heads, some people might say from their third eye or whatever, but you receive visions of these things. Sometimes they're multidimensional in nature, so you can't always draw them.
Right.
You can make a representation of it, but it's sort of like the idea of moving from our higher self of multidimensionality to a physical representation in 3 or 4 dimensions, depending on how you want to look at it, to a piece of paper, which is 2 dimensions. So we also know that one symbol can be looked at in an infinite number of perspectives, and that same symbol could look an infinite number of ways, depending on how you look, how you're looking at it. And even when you look at these, you turn them around, you look at them from behind, if you made them into a 3-dimensional object,
I've been thinking about that.
Spun them around.
Like, how would I do that?
So
make it.
And really, everything comes from one thing. So all of these symbols are really a perspective from a point of the one thing. And light language is a broader representation of different ways the one thing expresses itself.
And I receive so much, and it's like when I'm even looking, and this is kind of a good segue into what we're going to also share today, with the energy of February and today's date and so forth. But the idea that, we're always in constant communication with all of that, and like if I'm looking at a crystal, for example, I was just thinking about the old, crystal ball, but now I get it. Like, now I understand how a quartz crystal ball can hold it, be a gateway, a pathway to information, and how how I relate to crystals, how I will go out and talk to the flowers, and I'm immediately, it's almost like I'm hearing them audibly, and maybe they are saying words, but it's like it sparks just thinking about them. Like, I can hear their language, and it's like I talk to each thing in a different way, and it's like, am I receiving? Am I just sending? Is it both ways? Yes, yes, and yes.
So we don't have to talk about this too much longer, but how do we use light language day to day? So
these are great reminders for everybody.
One way we use it is if you speak light language or envision things like symbols and things, by being in the vibration of that, you are inviting more things to you, more ideas, more thoughts, more excitement, answers to questions, whatever you want. You're connecting, you're using that as a gateway to connect to the things that it represents. So if you're excited about a particular thing, let's say you're drawing a picture and you're seeing visions in your head, or you're hearing light language things, or if you're humming a tune that you just hear in your head, you're connecting to that frequency. And by doing that, the universe that's excited about the thing that you're doing is now available to you to flow through you and to encourage the excitement that you're expressing. And we could use it that way. We could use it to change the vibration of other things in how we're experiencing things. So there's a plethora of things available in the many different forms of light language and the way we use them. And I know Wendy, for example, many times will use light language to get into a state of allowance.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And
it helps open up a lot of channels, literally.
So it could be for a channeled message. It could be to communicate to other beings. It could be just to be more excited about the thing that she's excited about doing.
Even right now, I can feel it, like I'm hearing, and So in my heart, I'm feeling and hearing, like, may I offer you the most pure message through this tool, the Oracle, and deliver the most pure message to you for what you need in your growth and development. It's like this whole thing, it can come through in just a small gesture. Like, my heart is your heart. It's so hard to explain that it's not translation, it's interpretation. It's like if you listen, if somebody, multiple people listen to a song that has no lyrics at all, just music, whether you're a fan of that kind of music or not. The point is that even if you're jamming and you're rocking, and I know you guys can relate to this, there is those moments in the songs that we jam to that mean as much in that song, don't they? And I'm thinking rock, I'm talking, rock and roll, that for that whole time you're listening to these riffs and you're listening and you're like, if this song would never be that without the lack of lyrics and that part of it, like, what I'm talking about. The song plays and you're like, it's coming, right? It's coming, it's coming, and the lyrics are going to stop and you're like, yeah, it's like, it's, so I know you guys can relate no matter what kind of music you're talking about.
And
but
who doesn't like a good guitar
it's
solo?
Interpretation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You can't, how do you interpret that? It's, everybody's going to interpret it different. Somebody are going to be interpreted as, oh my God, that is horrible noise, I'm turning it off. And then there's those who are not going to do that. So I know you can relate to that. And that's really the energy of what we're talking about. It's about the language of light is everything. When they gave me the name of Languages of Lights, it was because they literally said, as I say, probably thousands of times now I've said, because everything in creation emits its own language of light. Its own light is its language. Therefore, the languages of lights represent the languages of everything in creation and how I interpret them and how I receive them and then transmit them, and how we all transform, because that's what today's about, is transformation. And so, funny, here we are. We haven't even gotten to, the things that we intended to go and jump into right away, but because you guys are driving this train, you're driving this video because I'm hearing what you need, and that's how that works, whether we understand quantum or not. It's, as Bashar says, the belly rub. It's all happening at the same time. Who asks for it first? Was the questioner in an audience, about your puppy wants a belly rub, and it's like, well, you're both in the same vibration at the same time. Just like when Dave and I share thoughts, like I know what, it's not that I'm hearing his words, it's just we've both tapped into that same stream of information. So,
and sometimes you hear my words.
And sometimes I definitely do hear his words. And so I know that some of you can relate to all of this. And the things I guess what I was guided to share was, again, whatever message is appropriate for this now, for us, all of us together. And I have been really drawn to this amethyst stone, and I wanted to just kind of celebrate. We're moving into the end of February here. Today is 2025, as we mentioned, equaling 13, and today's the day of transformation. And this beautiful grape jelly, I just love this.
Yeah, and
amethyst.
I think the color is a little
It's off, very
on the
off.
Video
I wish we could.
Because it is
it's so beautifully
purple.
And maybe we should turn on a better light. Mm-hmm. We kind of improvised here and don't have our best lighting on here, but it is such an exquisite.
Let's see
purple.
For a moment.
Maybe we'll see if we can actually get it in focus. Because the reason I wanted to bring this up is because the crystal for February, that really kind of drowns. Yeah, it's kind of worse. Because we don't have our other better lights set up right now, but we have the butterfly, if you guys can see, butterfly wings. transform. So some of the things that when we talk about light languages too, is it helps me transform
I want to see the cool color.
my,
Let me see.
it helps me transform my belief systems. Oh, I don't know if that's going to help. I don't think that's going to help.
You guys get to watch me play with flashlight. It doesn't want to be purple.
It doesn't want to be purple today.
But it's purple.
But it's very purple. And since it's amethyst is one of the main crystals for February, I wanted to celebrate that energy and that idea. And I also wanted to share the idea of the flowers for February. That's something that I was feeling very strongly about. And the funny thing is the violets, which I know my wild violets are going to be popping up anytime. But what I did want to celebrate was the I'm going to look at it again, sorry. I skipped it again. Daffodils, because the daffodils are popping up, and I wanted the daffodils and the irises are both popping up, and they are the flowers to be celebrated for February. Now, what I don't have is a card for violets, but as I was poking through my cards, I wanted to. I'm looking for my daffodil card. Here it is. So, daffodil. The meaning of the daffodil is perception, and these magnificent heralds of spring are literally trumpeting the joy and freedom of learning to be yourself. Daffodil wants you to see the light, to perceive the beauty and perfection and wholeness that is you, just as you are. It's time to release any self-doubt and revel in the freedom and weightlessness of endless possibilities. And I think if you guys saw the video we did just a short time ago where we were clearing out the trees and the daffodils were popping up, and now they're coming into bloom. We've got a couple of cold winter days here, but just enveloping in that yellow daffodil energy, that trumpeting in the new, trumpeting in transformation. I always loved it when the daffodils would pop up because it sort of felt like this was that message of transformation, that we're transforming from winter to spring. The idea of the yellow, that solar plexus chakra, and they're just so happy. I love the happy flowers, and just the idea of the endless possibilities. For some reason, it always represents to me that idea too of the endless possibilities because they're popping up for spring. And our irises are popping up, and I've also been wanting to. They really need some they need some tending, and I think.
Well, these are brand new.
The other one was which actually I don't think I have an iris card.
Iris?
Yeah, was the iris in that one, or did I pull it out? I couldn't remember. See, I was preparing, and the other February, I didn't want to leave this one out. The other February, which also in this picture is yellow, the flower for February is primrose, and the evening primrose represents rebirth. So here we are, the day of transform, and the idea of rebirth. The rebirth of endless possibilities. Evening primrose helps you to release old wounds and feelings of rejection, self-pity, and other heart-heavy issues you may have carried from birth or early childhood. And this is so appropriate for me right now. Wow. She allows for a sort of spiritual rebirthing or a birthing of your true self, so you can make room for more joy, fun, and playfulness in your life. Did you find it?
Siberian iris.
Oh, you did find it. Oh, good. And maybe you can share with us. So once again, sharing in this yellow energy of rebirth. And I'm going to hop over to the iris because I want to really share the message of the iris. And this card is from, oh, I didn't show you guys the deck, sorry. The last ones were from the Soulflower deck, the Plant Spirit Oracle, and this is from the Language of Flowers Oracle. And today, and we got our purple, you guys, we got our amethyst, the iris. Inspiration, the Siberian iris, number 24, which equals 6. So, oh, wow, that was really weird. I just swear to God, you guys, I just saw something like dash across the room. This little sparkly light just like danced across the room. That was so crazy. And in a lot of my videos, you can see orbs running around. Siberian iris inspiration. By you becoming more of who you are, you become an inspiration simply by breathing, by living, by walking around, by doing you, by being who you are, being the inspiration. And the violet cover, that color, that amethyst, the violet, that violet color, and I'll show you guys this in a better light upstairs. And then also I've got this, and I think this is also amethyst, this crystal skull. And then also it's hard to see. Yeah, we should really have our good lights on right now. What is it? Is there something you'd like to share?
The iris connects so strongly with artists of all types.
Oh my God.
Those who are on quests of discovery and invention. And if this flower comes to you, no matter what your creative level or interests, the message is for you to be creative and curious and actively try harder to unblock paths so that you may learn. New ways to approach an issue could appear that may seem unconventional, so think out of the box.
Wow. And that little flower, I forgot again to go. It's really cold here, so I haven't been outside since I saw that other little purple flower coming up, and it's driving me crazy. But and it's not it's not one of the crocuses. Well, it might be.
This is sort of interesting.
But
purple. So in this book, it actually talks about botanical information, gardening tips, but it says, this flower reminds you to use your own voice and be very, very sure that what you're doing is inspired by others and not plagiarism.
Ooh.
So that's interesting.
You know, it came to me, you guys, as AI. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm not against AI. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying at all. That's just that.
For those who need to hear it,
for those who needed to hear that, And I will say again, Dave, you are a butterfly. And and he really has helped transform me. And that I got the voice today from the children in my head about opening up the butterfly wings. Now, Dave bought me those butterfly wings, you guys, and it actually goes around your neck, and there's little clips to hold it on my hands. Yes, I will do it. Only because it's been so long. I don't know. I may not do it now, but yes, see yourself with those butterfly wings, you guys. Transformation. The flowers help us transform, the colors, the crystals, everything, as David and I talked about today in another video, in our video we did on Open Contact TV. It was all about permission slips. And you know what? We buy these candles and we buy these incense, and I keep wanting to share this with you, and no affiliation whatsoever. We just like their stuff. Nature misses you. Nature misses you. And because it's your nature, so whoever this message is for, nature misses you. Maybe it's your true nature that misses you. Maybe it's not just the outside that misses you. Maybe in order for you to find your true nature, you need to spend more time with the flowers and the butterflies. But nature misses you. And I keep hearing over and over, your true nature. Like, your true you misses you. And even though that's not really possible, because you're your higher true self doesn't miss things because it understands, but you know what I'm saying. I keep hearing that. Your true nature, the true you misses you.
And this one wanted to be read too, obviously.
Wow. Oh, and this is great. Roses. Dave and I just got roses. We've been talking a lot about roses. We talked about rose energy for January. Number 40, trust, the wild rose. And I'm so excited. I'm envisioning my roses growing and growing. Trust that you have everything you need. Trust that you have everything you need. The wild roses, they smell amazing. They're prickly, they're wild, they just have their own, sense of adventure. Be that wild rose. And here that color's cropping up again, that purple rose energy. I've got my rose quartz here as well. And there's several other crystals and stones that are associated with February. I'm just highlighting the amethyst as the idea of the birthstone as we're moving out of February and moving into a new month and into a new astrological sign here soon. So whatever that means to all of you.
So this particular rose, in the book here, it talks about places, I guess where each flower is found, but it's associated in an area in Alberta, Canada, which is the original homeland of the Nakota Indian.
Oh.
Also known as the Stony Indian.
No way. Okay.
So
that are you guys, if you've been watching along, okay, that has a lot of synchronicities with Dave and I. And I was wearing my feathers yesterday in a hangout that our friend does on his YouTube channel, and I was wearing my feathers. And actually, Dave even asked me that today. He's like, "You want to put your feathers on?" So that's very interesting, just because that's my association. The feathers are my association with my Native American, honoring that within us all. And actually, that reminds me of what Uncle Wally said on the Navajo teachings. He said, all of us have Native American connections and DNA. It's all part of us in some way, some form, and whatever that means. And I'm no expert in any of this. I'm just simply repeating what he said, and because I feel that within myself too, that everyone here, and of course we're from the United States. We're broadcasting from the United States, so I understand. I am also coming from that perspective, but bigger than that, we're all connected we're all connected to everything. Not only our consciousness, but we're all in this entire earth connected, and we're getting ready to meet our star families that are also connected to us. We are not alone. We're not alone. And we know that. We know it. There's no more saying, is it real? Is it not real? We already know it. We are connected to all of that. And we're preparing. I know we talked about prepare, but we're going through the experience as human collective consciousness, preparing to meet family and friends from other planets, galaxies, star systems, dimensions. And each and every one of us, including myself, Dave, all of us are interacting with all of those things right now, have been all of our lives since the moment we decided to come into this place. But we're all always spirit. Always spirit. Everything is. So there is no really other side. It's just our perception that there is another side. But it's all connected. We're all connected. And those of us who share this energy remind us all. We're all connected. Everything's connected. What you do, how you feel, what you perceive, how you choose, what you act, we all change those cogs by the human collective. Everything is a reflection of how we feel. And that's individually and collectively. So we're all having all of these connective experiences already. It's just those of us who are helping us all remember that. And things I feel in my reality and our reality, if you're watching this, are going to be completely different in 5 years. Beyond anything I think we could imagine. And though I feel like I can imagine it, even I can't even imagine, what that all is going to be like. But I'm riding the vibration of the energy of it and how it excites me, and how Dave and I, it excites us, and how we get excited to share it wherever we share it, because it's all the same space. It's all the same place. It's all consciousness. We're all swimming in the same stream of consciousness, so yeah, there's that fish energy again. I don't know. I've been really connecting too. You guys, I'm doing this thing. Like, I've been connecting today with the dolphin and the whale energy, so I'm just kind of like riding. I feel like that we're riding the waves, and I've been so emotional today about all of this stuff, like this stuff that, it's just been crazy. So I don't know. Did I say everything I came to say today? I don't know. I just wanted to pull a couple of different cards, and I'm just gonna grab one here. 28, release. Okay, we just talked about releasing, right? Okay, I'll show you guys first. I just grabbed it out of the deck. Oh, this is the Conscious Spirit deck. Release. It's time to, it's time to release anything, because releasing simply means allowing it to exist without any resistance on our part. Allowing it to exist without any resistance on our part. Release the resistance of allowing things to exist, and us being okay with that. Releasing the need to move it, control it, change it. We change it by our vibration. I release that which does not serve my higher purpose with gratitude and love. And I think I'm just going to end it with that card. What do you think, Dave?
What do you have to release today?
In order to transform.
Leave it in the comments below.
Maybe you release something today and you can let us know what that is. And I know I've released a lot of grief, a lot of self-destructing beliefs, patterns, fear. I feel like I've released, or maybe I'm allowing. Maybe releasing is I'm allowing more of the idea that I create my universe, that I create my reality. I'm releasing the resistance to that I create my reality by my vibration, and what we choose to focus on and act. And so yeah, I think and the 20 and 28. My birthday's on the 28th of November. So, and my birth path is 11, even though I know that doesn't equal 11, but so that's just my own synchronicity, and it equals 10, which equals 1, and the idea of 1, we're all one. We are transforming ourselves into understanding we're all one. Everything is God. Everything is God. And we see that in the transformations of the butterfly. I mean, that's what we are doing. Can imagine, moment by moment, billions and billions of times per second, we are butterflies.
So, what definition do you have of a circumstance that you want to release that's telling you that it serves you more to not release it? Because you don't really release the thing.
Right.
So you really just change the definition of the circumstance so it's not producing a negative effect in your now moment.
Good job. I could not have said that better.
I couldn't repeat it probably.
You have a way with words. But see, we're always channeling you guys, all of us, every day, every minute. We're channeling our higher selves. We're channeling your guides and my guides, and you guys are doing the same thing to others, to me, to all of it. So it's all connected. Mwah! We love you guys.
Thanks for hanging out.
Love this. Love you. We could do this every minute.
I love you.
Mwah, of every day. Mwah. Tell us what's on your mind.
And remember, we don't know if you're watching it unless you say hello to us.
And thanks to all of you who like, subscribe, book sessions. We have journals. There's so much to explore on the website. And yes, I do private sessions. And so, yeah, creating personal symbols for you, artwork, readings, light language, all of it. Just it's quite an experience.
and Wendy will coach you to do it yourself.
Absolutely. That's the whole point. Love you.